Hi, I'm Christine Vartanian, and this is the Waist Up Wardrobe Podcast. Have you ever been in the Zoom room and been completely distracted by what somebody was wearing? Well, today's topic is going to cover what to wear on camera and what not to wear on camera. And why does that matter? Well, it matters because you want people to be focused on your message, not on what you're wearing. So if you want to know the secrets of what to wear on camera, stick around. I'm going to tell you that in just a minute. Welcome to Waist Up Wardrobe. I'm Christine Vartanian, an attorney turned personal style expert and image consultant. As the founder of Jade for All Seasons, I am passionate about unveiling the inner confidence of my clients by developing their personal style and dressing them for success. But is getting dressed up still important in our virtual world? Well, that's where my experience can help with what I call Waist Up Wardrobe. Waist Up Wardrobe is a podcast for all things you need to conduct an outstanding Zoom meeting. It's about how to dress for the camera, but it's not just about the clothes. It's about everything you need to know to show up on brand and professionally on camera. Join me in the Waist Up Wardrobe studio to discuss how to navigate this virtual world and dominate from behind the desk. Hi, Virtual Nation. So here today, we're going to be talking about what is camera friendly, what clothes and image is camera friendly. Working virtually is not going away anytime soon. It's here to stay. So why don't we try and dress like we are actually in the boardroom, even if we are virtual, right? Because we want to project that image that makes us look like we are aligned with our signature image and we are super professional. Joining me in the Waist Up Wardrobe, Waist Up Wardrobe room is behind the scenes is my producer, Rick Moscoso. He is going to stay behind the scenes today because he is handling all the technical stuff. And I'm so excited that he is behind the scenes because he is a master at what he does. But one thing to remind everybody of is comment in the chat box. This is going to be a live dialogue. We want to hear what you have to say. We want to know if you have other ideas to add to what we are putting out there, but also if you have any questions. I want this to be your podcast. So the Waist Up Wardrobe podcast is designed to be a series of episodes, right? Where if you want to create a knockout studio, a studio that says, I am a professional in my business and I know what I'm doing when it comes to everything that has to do with what goes in this box, this is the podcast for you, because I'm going to create a library of episodes that will take you from step one, from A to Z, and it'll give you the opportunity to build one episode on top of the other as building blocks to creating that outstanding image that you can project and really feel successful when you're in your virtual office. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and dive in right to the meat and potatoes of what looks great on camera. And here's the thing. I don't like rules. I don't like fashion rules. I don't like dressing up rules. But there are guidelines that we all have to adhere to, right? And in the and on camera, the way you dress is totally different than how you would dress in a regular boardroom. And the reason is because you have a camera in front of you and the camera is moving and you're moving, and that can create like some effects that you don't want to happen. And that's why what you wear for the camera is a little bit different than what you would wear live. So the first guideline is, and here's the thing, remember, I don't like rules. So we're going to call them guidelines, and there are exceptions to every guideline, okay? So the first guideline that if you don't remember anything else from this podcast and you want to know what to wear on camera is think about rich, saturated tones, colors that are like jewel tones. Those enhance everybody. Those are the universally perfect colors for every skin tone, and you can't go wrong with them. And as you can see up on the screen, we got the blues, we got the burgundies, the greens. Those colors work great. And if you, like I said, if you remember nothing else, that's what you should remember, okay? And the thing is, you don't have to adhere to these specific tones that you see on my screen. You can vary the tone. So you can wear any medium to deep hue from the blue, like a Kelly blue or a deep blue or an indigo blue, or you can go in the green hues into the teals and the sage colors, and those still look great. I would just steer you away from the pastels because that tends to wash us out a little bit on camera. Got it? Okay, next would be the next guideline, which is guideline number 2, is what specifically not to wear. Now, Don't wear black. Black is an absolute no. And again, there are exceptions to every guideline. But in general, we don't wear black because black is very contrasty. It's a very dark neutral. And what it can do is it can end up aging us a little bit when we wear it, especially around our face. So that's why we steer people that are going on camera away from black. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, there's white. We also say no to white, and we're talking about bright whites. Okay, bright whites are not good because they are they create this halo effect. The camera kind of looks like you're overexposed when you're wearing white, and so for that reason, we stay away from white as well. Now, the thing is, I have clients that will say that when I'm getting them ready for camera, that their brand color is white and black, and they kind of want to wear it. And to them, I try and kind of work with the exceptions to the guidelines. So with white, if that's part of your brand and you really want to wear it on camera, what we do is we recommend that you wear more of the warmer whites, the ivories, the winter whites, and that would work. Or if you really are adamant about wearing black, what I would recommend is not wearing a whole dress in black or a blazer in black, but to wear maybe an underpinning or an accent in black and throw on a nice saturated tone in your blazer. So there are ways around it if you really love those neutrals, but the general rule is try and stay away from it, okay? So next guideline is, and please comment in the chat box. We want to hear what you have to say, and we're very excited about having you here, so please comment in the box. So the third guideline is, it kind of goes back to guideline number 1. Do you guys remember in grade school the mnemonic Roy G. Biv? So Roy G. Biv was an acronym that we were taught to remember the colors and the order of the colors in the rainbow. And it was really helpful to do that. Well, it can be helpful here too when you're trying to dress for the camera. So Roy G. Biv, the Roy part, that's the part you stay away from. Those are the colors you do not wear on camera. They're very bright, they're distracting, and they are generally not okay to wear. Now, the G. Biv are the colors you should focus on. And if you notice, the G. Biv are sort of the same hues as the colors we spoke about earlier in the jewel tones. So again, now somebody's gonna say, well, you said red is okay. And there's a distinction to remember. Orange red is not okay. Orange red tends to brighten you up too much and be distracting. But a blue red is great. A cherry red is fantastic. And then going all the way into the burgundies. So that's the little distinction when it comes to reds. Okay, so that, and you can see the slide up there that, that we were used in elementary school where we learned the colors of the rainbow. So hopefully that will help you remember the colors to adhere to. Okay, guideline number 4, patterns. What do we do with patterns? Well, patterns are also generally a no. I'm sorry. I know there's so many people out there that love patterns. And here's the reason why we stay away from patterns, okay? Patterns dazzle the eye. So it tricks the eye, tricks the camera. Things like little pinstripes, especially contrasting little pinstripes like black and white. And that tends to dazzle the eye of the viewer, okay? So that's why we stay away from it. Things like houndstooth or plaids, also stay away from those because, again, they do the same thing and you don't want to distract the viewer. You want them to focus on the message that you're trying to convey. So I had a client who really loved, she loved to wear houndstooth and she loved to wear florals. And what we ended up doing, and she was going to be on camera and she was going to be, taking a lot of video. And she said, I really need to wear my patterns. It's my signature style. That is what I'm aligned with, right? And we ended up taking her floral tops that she loved to wear. And then and one of the floral tops was had a burgundy background and like all these floral designs. We took a burgundy blazer that was structured. We threw it on there. And then she just had a hint of her floral, and it was perfect for the camera. And then she got to stay on brand and on her signature style, and also feel put together and really camera appropriate. So I am not seeing the comments in my chat box. I wonder if Rick, maybe they're not on, because I know that I saw you put up Tira's question or comment, and I didn't actually catch it. So if you can, just throw it in the chat box, or maybe get the comments to work. Anyway, so the patterns is something to stay away from. And let's talk about like, I don't know if the slides can go up for some of the patterns. So as you can see here, a pattern like that would be so distracting to look at if you were talking to somebody on camera. And there's some other patterns too that like can be like florals. Like, look at me there in that pattern. That was our promo picture. I really wanted to drive the point across. So I mix the patterns to really drive the point across that don't do it. The green blazer, though, that will work. So as you can see, the juxtaposition of those. Now, floral patterns and other colors, like a lot of colors kind of coming at you, would be super distracting, like this picture you could see right now. So that would be something you stay away from. And especially with gentlemen. Okay, so gentlemen and ties, right? When they're on camera, I encourage the gentlemen to wear ties that don't have small little patterns, okay? And then there's a slide that we're going to show you with all these tiny little patterns that you really kind of should stay away from. Well, that right there, the slide you're seeing right now is a picture of a woman dressed in a multicolor dress, really distracting. Again, just another example of what it is to wear something that can be distracting for the camera. So next, we want to show you a slide that is and that's me. So that dress actually would totally be not camera friendly. And I love that dress. It has all sorts of colors, has the pinks and the greens and the yellows and black, but it's not appropriate for the camera. And next, I want to show you the little, so that is a pinstripe shirt that a gentleman would typically wear. But as you can see, the pinstripes really kind of confuse the eye. So not recommended for the camera. And little patterns in ties are not recommended for the camera. There's a lot of, as you can see there with the slide, we've got like a check and a plaid and a stripe and a polka dot. And those are just not great for the camera. I would encourage the gentleman to stick with like a jewel tone tie. And in terms of a blazer suit, like a suit coat, to stay away from black, like we discussed earlier, but instead to wear their navy suits or their charcoal suits, or even like a brown earth tone is perfect for the camera for the gentleman out there. So that is the whole thing about patterns. And it's important to remember that we want to have our message go across. So we kind of want to stay away from these things that distract the camera. One more thing I'm going to add to that is, texture as opposed to pattern is okay. So if you're wearing a tweed green blazer or a lace blue top, that's totally fine. That works as long as it's one solid color with texture, because texture is interesting and it's not overpowering. It just kind of goes in harmony with what is in the frame. So that would be okay. Now, as far as when I'm talking about texture, the one thing I would caution my the viewers about is wearing sequins or something that has a lot of reflection in it, because that tends to obviously reflect like a mirror. You don't want to wear that. And there's a picture that we're going to put up next of a sequins top that I'm wearing, and I don't know if Rick has that handy. There you go. And that is sort of the effect you get with sequins. That picture, because it's a still picture, doesn't look that bad actually. But if you're in front of a camera moving and there's motion that is associated with camera, it can be very distracting. So that's something to remember when it comes to, thinking about what patterns to wear. Okay. So I'm not seeing the comments in the box. I don't know if it's a technical difficulty on our end or if maybe the comments will come later, but I see Amani's on. What skin tones makes a difference in the colors we wear? Oh my God, that is such a great question. And here's the deal. there is many ways, Amani, to figure out what colors look best on your tone. Okay, and it can be very confusing. One of the simplest ways to figure out what to wear, what tones or what colors would look great on you, is to go into broad daylight, like a nice lit area outside, preferably, and look at your wrist. Okay, and then you'll see your veins. Now, if your veins are a little bit towards the greener tone, then you are a warm tone, and warmer colors look better on you. Warmer tones like burgundies and those jewel tones, the deep blues and the greens and the burgundies. Okay. If your veins have a touch of blue in them, then you're a cool tone. And you would be more towards the ice blue colors. You're a cool tone, skin tone. So that's a difference. Now, if you can't tell if you're green or blue, then you're perhaps a neutral tone, and most things will look good on your skin. So that is sort of a test. I mean, when I work with my clients, I do a color theory test on them. And sometimes it's hard for us to determine what we are, but that is a great little rule of thumb. I hope that helps and helps it make a little bit easier. Also, another way to know is if you are somebody who tends to go out in the sun and burn pretty quickly because you're super fair, you're probably a cool tone, and the blues and the cool colors like grays and blues are better for you. But if you are resilient a little bit more to the sun, then you're a warm tone, and you can wear the jewel tones of like greens and burgundies and browns. Those are more better for you. And here's the thing about colors. You know, people always ask me, that's the first thing we talk about, is what color is great for me. Hi, Maggie. Nice to see you. Neutral, you're neutral. Well, Maggie is a makeup artist, and she knows because she's always dealing with colors, right? She's always dealing with like color matching people's skin. So she knows. So here's the deal. When people ask me about color matching their skin and figuring out what tone they are, what colors look best on them, what I say is, yes, there are colors like I just described that look great on you, right? That are universally good for you personally. But I honestly, my philosophy is I don't feel like somebody cannot wear a particular color because it's not their color. I really think anybody could wear any color. It's really how you style it. So let's say yellow is not your color. If you style it like under a brown blazer or another blazer with a warm tone, you've got a great look and you're able to wear yellow. So I really feel like everybody should have the opportunity to wear a color if they love it, even if it's not technically the color that somebody told them is their color or they determined to be their color. So I hope that kind of gives you a little bit guideline about color matching. And I'm going to move on to our next guideline for the camera. Oh, there's Tira. Hi, Tira. Nice to see you. How do you choose accessories for the camera? So, Tira, I'm glad you asked that question. We're going to have a whole episode on accessories, and it's going to cover everything from in this frame that you can accessorize with. But here's a rule of thumb just to kind of give you a little answer on that. Go light on the accessories, okay? We don't like to over accessorize, and that's all I'm going to say because that is going to be its own show. All right. So here's the thing. Okay, so the next guideline is what a cautionary guideline. It's the guideline number 5. I call it a cautionary guideline, and I do because I call it the chameleon effect. So you're looking at the screen right now, and you could see me in a natural green blazer that is completely blended into my background. Do you guys see that? That is what I call the chameleon effect. It's kind of like a disappearing act. I'm totally blending in with the background. Be aware of your surroundings, your back, and make sure you're not blending into it and wearing something that is the similar color. So if I'm wearing green today, if I was on a green screen, I would be completely invisible. Not the color to wear when you're on a green screen. So make sure you're thinking about that because it's those things that we don't think about. And then we end up showing up on camera and then we get these wild effects. So background is really, really important. You don't want to disappear in the background. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit, like just a little plug on virtual backgrounds. It's been a trend now. People are using them all the time. They're very popular. It's like a quick fix to not really setting up your studio in a professional way. But the virtual backgrounds, personally, I do not like. Not a fan. And here's why. They have funky little effects that happen around your head. You end up kind of melting into them, right? And it's distracting, and it comes off as silly, not professional. That's my opinion about virtual backgrounds. I try and stay away from them. I understand, though, that sometimes we don't have a choice because, say, you're traveling and you need it to be on a virtual background. So my recommendation for when you actually have to be on a virtual background is find pictures of hotel backgrounds, like a foyer of a hotel, or a big conference room in a hotel, or a big window in a hotel, and use that as your virtual background. It's a little bit more upscale and a lot more professional. Make sense? All right, moving on. And please let me know if there's any questions. I cannot see the questions in the chat box, but I'm relying on Rick behind the scenes to put them in there. We had a couple of little technical difficulties. And anyway, hi, Maggie. Thank you for commenting. Yes, aren't virtual backgrounds kind of like, I don't know, I just don't feel right. So I totally agree as well. So guideline number 7. If you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, and you have a brand color, I always recommend that you have one piece in your wardrobe that is on brand for you. So you can see right here, this is my profile picture, and I'm wearing a sage green dress, and that's my brand color for my business, Jade for All Seasons. And what I do, the reason I have that is because I always want to be expressing my brand in whatever I'm doing and in my pictures. And when I do photography, I always end up picking a brand color to have in my portfolio. The same thing on camera. When you're on camera, it's nice to appear once in a while in your brand color, because just to kind of accentuate your image and your brand identity, right? Now, that doesn't mean you have to always wear your brand color. You just have to have one great dress on brand, or one great blazer, or maybe a blazer and a dress, and wear them once in a while, because that just emphasizes, it's like putting a bug to the audience that just, this is my brand, and this is how I carry myself as a professional that I am. So just, think about that as you're building your camera wardrobe. Okay, so guideline number 8. This is kind of interesting because we're going to do a whole show on this. And what it is color psychology. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of this, but I have a picture to show you guys. Rick is going to bring it up about color psychology. It's a whole thing. Colors have meaning, okay? Colors like blue, those represent trust. Colors like green represent peace and health and wellness. Red tends to be a power color, powerful and fierce. And it can come off a little bit as a little bit, aggressive. So you have to be careful with red and what audience you're wearing it in. But it is a power color. So these colors, like you could see here up on the screen, yellow symbolizes something. Orange symbolizes something, blue symbolizes trust, and green symbolizes peace and health. And those are great things to consider if you are, say you're selling to somebody on camera. Blue might be a good color to wear. You're trying to build a trusting relationship. Now, that is just the color psychology, the psychology behind colors, and it's actually scientifically proven. So why not take advantage of it? So just something else to think about. Okay. Okay. Now, if you take nothing else from this podcast today, take one thing. Remember to fall back on your universally flattering colors. Okay, universally flattering colors will be up on the screen in just a second as soon as Rick puts it up there. But they are those jewel tones. They are the greens and the purples and the burgundies and those deep blues. If you remember nothing else and you are scurrying to get on camera, remember that if you put yourself in any one of these colors and wear very, understated jewelry, you'll be golden and you'll be great on camera. So that is something to just kind of keep in mind, because there is a lot of information here. There's a lot of guidelines to remember, and there are exceptions to the guidelines, so it can be confusing. But remember that basic guideline and you'll find it pretty easy to follow. All right, so finally, feeling great is the most important thing. So if you go to your closet right now and you find a green dress that would be perfect, but when you put it on, you don't like at all, don't wear it. It is not for you. You need to feel like $1,000,000 in what you're wearing. That is the key thing to remember. Even though I said finally, that was my final guideline, I actually want to go back to one more thing that I missed, and that is streamline clothes. It's really important to look at the shape of what you're wearing. If you're wearing something billowy with bat wings or big on you, you're going to look like a shape of that garment. And that's not flattering. So remember not to wear things that have too much fabric, or too billowy, or too big on you, okay? Now, if you want to wear this blouse in a certain color and it just happens to be a big oversized blouse, throw on a structured jacket, a structured blazer, and that will give you a great shape and it will streamline your figure. And you know what? Throwing on a blazer instantly up levels your credibility, no matter what industry you're in. So that is always a good rule of thumb. All right. So if there's any more questions, please put up your comments to Rick. He is actually manning the comments because we're having a little bit of comment technical difficulty. It's not showing up on my screen, but that's okay because Rick is watching those comments come through. And you can always connect with me on my by my email, and Rick will put that in the lower third soon, my banner. It is Christine@jadeforallseasons.com. You can always contact me there for questions. And finally, we're going to conclude every episode of Waist Up Wardrobe with the Waist Up Wardrobe Weekly Wrap-Up. Okay. And what the Waist Up Wardrobe Wrap-Up is, it is a, you will be left with takeaways, tips, tools, and action, because we want to spring you into action right away with these tips. Okay. So the first biggest takeaway, and we mentioned that before because it is so important, is to remember to think about the universally flattering colors. If you don't remember anything else, remember that you should wear universally flattering colors if you can't figure out what to wear. The blue, the deep purples or eggplants, and the burgundies. Okay. Those are flattering on all skin tones, really. So that's the biggest takeaway from today. Now, the tips. Remember, no black and white, okay? No patterns. We're not going to do patterns. Remember to wear streamlined clothes, things that are figure flattering, that aren't too billowy on you. And finally, remember the chameleon effect. You don't want to disappear into the background. You don't want to be a chameleon. So make sure you always check your backdrop and make sure that you're not blending into it. Okay, finally, the tools. Okay, guys. So this is really exciting. Okay, so the tools that I want to leave you with, if you also remember nothing else, the tools are really key. Roy G. Biv. Remember that because that's a really good mnemonic. And remember that the Roy are the colors that you stay away from, the red, oranges, and the yellows. And the colors are great are the greens, the blues, the indigos, and the violets. Okay, those are great colors to adhere to. Okay, and the second tool I want to leave you with is something really exciting. Okay. I am offering everybody that is on live right now a 30-minute session where I'm going to style them for the camera. We're going to look in your camera. We're going to spend 30 minutes in your closet. We're going to look in your, not in your camera, we're going to look in your wardrobe and pull from your wardrobe the things that are actually working for you. Okay. And that is my gift to you. And there you go. Tira is going to take advantage of that. Now, I don't know if this is going to come through, but do put the word color, #color in the chat box if you can, because Rick is seeing the comment. So put it in your comment box or your chat box, because everybody who puts the #color in the chat box will get a 30-minute session with me. I will contact you via Facebook Messenger, and I will schedule you with that ASAP. So know that. And we'll have a lot of fun playing dress up in your closet. And the other thing is, I have a quick little tool here. I have 2 links to Amazon where you can actually, and we'll put that in the comment section, and it will be on the Facebook page. There's 2 links to Amazon where you can go and buy real, like jewel tone blouses are super basic. You know, Amazon has a little wardrobe section where they sell clothes. Now, the quality isn't the best. It's not the finest, but for purpose of experimenting, say you just want to experiment with color on camera and you're not sure which color you're going to love the most or what is on brand for you, you can buy 2 or 3 of these colors. They're like $25 and you can try them. And the 2 links will be put in our link below in the chat or in the comments, and it'll be on the Facebook page, the Waist Up Wardrobe Facebook page. And again, we'll put in the lower thirds my email. You can always contact me so I can give you any clarification if you need. That's Christine@jadeforallseasons.com. And so this gives you an opportunity to just like small investment, and you get to figure out if those colors work for you, if you want to go that route. Now, I always really recommend to invest in high quality clothes. You know, it doesn't have to be super expensive. That doesn't have to cost $1 million for a burgundy great shirt, but you know, a great price point for a blouse is like you know, $80 to $100, and it will last you and you'll love it forever. But again, just to try this out, just as an experiment, you have that at your disposal. And finally, I want to talk about your action items. I want everybody to spring right into action and make these tools work for them. Okay. So your first action item is start building a camera wardrobe. You need to start having a little wardrobe that is exclusively for your camera. Can you wear it to work outside of the camera? Of course. But these are the things that you will designate as the things that work for the camera and for your virtual working world. Okay. So start building that out. Maybe go to your closet and figure out what actually is in there that are on these guidelines that I showed you. And when we meet for 30 minutes, I will help you do that. And then if you don't have a lot, maybe invest in 1 or 2 pieces, okay? It's really a great idea to have this little go-to wardrobe for just the camera. And create a set that is pretty universal, where you don't blend into it. You know, a lot of people have sets that are like reclaimed wood in the background, and those are great. They look beautiful. But if you wear a lot of natural tones, you wear a lot of browns and greens, you might run into that problem of blending in and that chameleon effect. We don't want you to be a chameleon. So make sure you think about your background and invest in kind of creating that great background, and invest in 1 or 2 pieces that are in brand for you. So like if your brand color is blue, get a great business dress in blue, or a great blazer in blue that you could throw on and get on the call. You can have 1 of each. That would be great too, so you're not wearing it, you know, multiple times. But those are some of the action tips that will really help you build out that camera friendly wardrobe. Okay, thanks for joining us here on Waist Up Wardrobe, the podcast. Join us next week. Next week, we're going to be talking something very technical about your lighting. We're going to be talking about all the tools you can acquire for your home studio: ring lights, LED lights, color lights. There is so much out there on the market. And Rick Moscoso, my producer, will be on camera being interviewed about all these technical things, because we've been working here in our studio trying to figure out the best lighting. And we're almost there. We have created a great space, but we were almost there. I feel like we just need to tweak it a little bit, but it's also a work in progress, right? So I'm working through this with you guys. So tune in for that. You don't want to miss it. Lots of technically really good information. You don't want to be left in the dark in your virtual meetings. So make sure to tune in, and we will be here at the same time, 11:30 next Thursday at Waist Up Wardrobe podcast in the Facebook page. Join us. And one more thing, if you know a friend that could benefit from this, please ask them to join us. All right. It's nice to see you. Bye.